Welcome everybody, EShot Nation. First of all, I need to stop saying everybody and just start calling you guys EShot Nation, so we'll work on that going forward. Welcome. This is actually episode 6. Thought it was 6 in the last one. Turns out it was not. So, to talk about today, we really only have one major topic to go over, but I think it's quite big, and it's a pretty big drop in terms of news. If you haven't already seen the CWL, also known as the Call of Duty World League, the rules have just been announced about a day ago, and there's some positives, but there are actually a lot of negatives with the rule set, in our opinions, and just kind of the general consensus of pros and fans in general that just don't really like this rule set. But we'll talk.
We haven't played on it yet,
yeah,
so
we haven't played.
We don't actually know how it feels. When it comes down to there's some things that worry us just based off of what we see. Should we just dive into it then?
Yeah. So I mean, with that said, we do know the 3 modes. I think it was pretty safe to say though that hardpoint and search were going to stick. However, the last few games have had capture the flag, which is not in the game anymore. Capture the flag will be officially replaced by the new mode called Control. I know I've played a little bit of it, but Kia, what do you think about Control, at least from a pub standpoint, and then we'll kind of talk about the rules that they changed for competitive.
Well, they actually really didn't change very many rules at all for competitive, other than the respawn delay, which is necessary, and in hardpoint as well. So it's basically you're just playing pubs Control with a 2-second respawn delay. With that being said, it's pretty basic. Two zones on the map. Offense, defense. Offense has a certain amount of lives to capture the zones. And defense has a certain amount of lives to defend the zones. I believe since we are staying with the default lives, it will be 30 per team.
25.
25, is that what they changed?
Yeah, they dropped 5 lives to 25. So each player now gets 5 lives instead of 6, essentially.
Is that for pubs as well?
No, pub stays at 30. Competitive will be 25.
Okay, that is not showing in the CWL variant rule sets that I'm looking at.
Oh, yeah, I'm on callofduty.com esports rule set.
Gotcha. You want to link that really quick so I can pull that one up? Because I'm on GB's rule set, so...
Oh, they didn't... Oh, interesting. That's...
Yeah, I feel like that'd be under advanced. The only thing they have different is the suicide penalty, the pre-round timer, and the respawn delay, which really the respawn delay is the only major difference. Other than that, here we go. Let me pull this up really quick. Other than that, it's very basic. You have a limited amount of lives to capture the zones or to eliminate the enemy, or defend the zones or eliminate your enemy. It's pretty basic as far as a mode. It's what I like to call free for all with a small, or it's team deathmatch with a small objective in it. It can get exciting. There are times where it's exciting. Personally, for pubs, I don't like playing it. I just don't enjoy it as much as some of the other modes, but pubs has been weird this year. I haven't really found a mode that I enjoy too much, so
yeah, I mean, I
can't speak on that too much. You want to talk about the maps that are going to be played for Control? Because I think that's really going to be dictating of how well Control is going to be played this year, is what maps it is being played on.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. They have 6 maps that they want to start it with. Really, CWL Vegas is really going to be kind of that test event where they figure out what actually works and what doesn't work. There was something I wanted to... Oh, before I get into the maps, though... well, actually, I'll save it for after. Maps-wise, it's going to be Arsenal, Frequency, Gridlock, Jungle, Payload, and Seaside. I mean, I guess those are probably the best maps for Control, but I don't know.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to come down to testing how these maps play in a competitive setting. Though most of them I find to be decent maps to be played on a competitive level, especially with Control being such a split game type. It depends on how pros are going to play it.
Yeah.
If they're going to push one site over just splitting, but it seems like you're definitely going to have to split up your team a little bit more.
Yeah.
which some of these maps are great for that. They have different routes going through them that allow them to connect to the other zones. And in certain sides, like I believe Seaside's one of them, where it has that like hardcore bead lockdown inside. I don't know what you'd call that It's a little open area to the right hand side of the map, sort of towards the outside of the map. There's that nice like lockdown area there where it has like 4 or 5 entrances, one that cuts right into mid.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That
Like where
right
the
there is
bomb
gonna be.
site is on search.
Oh, well, the bomb site's actually just outside in the middle, and then if you go down through the staircase through the double doors down there, it's just outside the middle. But the point is, it connects to mid really well, and that should be a really exciting hard point with how many entrance or control zone with how many entrances there are. But then the rest of that map is you rotate right through middle, right over the tank, and then you're inside of the mid room, the crumble room. It has the tank right in the middle. That's the other control zone on that map. And that map specifically, I think, will be fun to watch just because of where the control zones are, how many entrance points there are, and just everything surrounding that. So like that's a map I love to see for control. And I believe that Seaside is actually on all the game modes. So that will be interesting. It's one of the better maps. But I mean, overall, I think Jungle is maybe one of the ones I question. It's such a large map compared to the rest of them.
Yeah.
That or I should say, it has such long lines of sight on it that it seems to be one that's going to be questionable as they play it. Is it going to be too slow? Is it going to be really AR dependent? We'll see what happens, especially with if they ever nerf or buff the guns. We'll see how that changes. But there's definitely some interesting maps in there that I'm excited to see being played and scrimmed even as we're speaking.
Yeah, I mean, they did so. Call of Duty and E-League had that thing on TBS, I think last night, and it was 5v5. They had a lot of like the pros there, and they were playing control. And one of the things that was interesting, none of the offensive teams won. And Zuma's basically like, man, this is unplayable. Like, you can't win as offense just because defense can post up, get head glitches, and just play kills, where offense, when you're not in the zone, you just lose the time. So I don't really know. I think it can be fun. It could be exciting, but teams are really going to have to figure out the offensive side of it and how they can push or how they want to make plays to win offensive rounds, I guess. And I don't know.
We don't have smoke grenades in this game, do we?
Yeah, there are.
What category are they under? Are they under equipment, trophy system?
I think there are. I mean, maybe it's only
I've
Blackout.
never seen a smoke grenade in multiplayer.
Yeah, it might only be Blackout.
Which I think would be immensely helpful in a game mode like Control, where you're running out of a choke point, and having that smoke will allow you to get further or closer to the enemy and break in different angles that they're expecting. I find it very weird that I haven't seen any smokes. Maybe they are in the game somewhere. Maybe I haven't noticed them, but I think smokes are necessary. I think it's something that would help this game type specifically, especially with some of the other rules that we'll get into later that are a little skeptical. Moving on from Control though for the moment, we'll touch back on it when we go over some of the specific bans that they have added in. Hardpoint has Arsenal, Contraband, Frequency, Gridlock, Seaside, Slums, and Summit. The only difference here from pubs is the 2-second respawn delay. So same as Control, which I like how they're keeping the rules simple to the pubs. It's exactly what they need to be doing with going to 5v5, making that gap closer. It's exactly what they need to be doing to just change as little rules as possible for how the game feels when you're playing it. You don't want I know a lot of people hated going from pubs or even competitive one way, just making that switch from pubs to competitive and S&D in the past, where that round timer is so much different that it can throw you off.
Yeah.
The diffusing or the planting time can be different. That kind of stuff can throw players off immensely, and it's something that's really irritating when you switch from one to the other either direction. So it's good to see that they're keeping it as simple as possible. Though they still have the 1.5 difference in S&D, which we'll get to in a minute. Right. The only thing that worries me in this map set is Summit. It's one that I've heard concern from people I play with and from a little bit from the community. Where is Summit fitting in this hard point? I felt like it's a much better S&D map, which it is not in the S&D rotation. Maybe that's just because I play well on it when I play it, but I don't like how narrow the map is. I don't like where the hard points are, and we already have firing, or we already have
Slums in there is like the throwback map.
yeah, slums is throwback map. So yeah, that's not a worry to me. I think there's other maps that you could have traded out for this, uh, or put in here. Maybe I don't know. I haven't played Hacienda on hardpoint enough to know the rotation, but I thought that map would be a decent map for hardpoint.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I guess my like overall, like you said, it's all rules are good at least. From what I've seen, the 2 second seems to be a pretty good delay, and the rest is pretty much the same. But what I don't like in the original Black Ops when Summit came out, Hardpoint was not even a game mode. They didn't make Summit for Hardpoint, so and it just feels like at least recently they forced like hills and Summit and it just doesn't, like you said, the map is very narrow and the placement of the hills are, they're decent for what they're working with, but it just doesn't really make sense. It's a much better of a search and destroy map, and as far as I know, yeah, it's not a search map. So in if they're sticking with the theme of having a throwback map in each mode, you already have Slums, which is proven to be a very good hardpoint map based on Black Ops 2. So why would you have the two maps in hardpoint? I just don't.
I would
really...
like to. I want to add to that though that like just because it's a narrow map doesn't make it a bad map.
Well,
you
no,
see the
it's
same
a
problem.
good map. Yeah, it's just I don't for hardpoint. I don't like it.
Yeah,
Especially with fives too.
Yeah. It's to me, I view it sort of similar as to Slums or to Slums. I view them as very similar maps as they seem to have pretty basic 3 lanes with a larger middle.
Right.
And Slums works out great for hardpoint. So the question comes down to is it the narrow of is it because it's so narrow? I don't think so. I think what it is because of where the hardpoints are located. And this goes back to firing range as well. Firing range is a phenomenal map. We've seen it time and time again. It does have 3 lanes, but it's more of a circular shape than it is
like
directly narrow in 3 lanes. Yeah. So what makes that so? But the problem with firing range, why we don't see it in here, is because the hardpoints are atrocious in there. They just seem like it seems like they just threw hardpoints into most random spots. Didn't care about the rotation, and I don't believe it has to do with they need to design a map for hardpoint, because I don't think that's how they design their maps. I think they keep it in mind for certain things, like, oh, this would be a great room for a hardpoint if we add an extra exit or something. But I don't think they designed the map specifically for hardpoint when it comes down to it, though they definitely take it into consideration. I think when it came down to looking at some of these flashback maps and realizing, oh, these Black Ops 1 Black Ops maps need hardpoints, they just didn't give them the proper hardpoints, the proper rotation. I do think both Firing Range and Summit could be amazing hardpoint maps, given that they were willing to change the rotation and the hardpoints themselves. There's some on Firing Range that some of the hardpoint rotations, some of the hardpoints just blow me away at how, in my mind, it's so mindless. It's so you just didn't care. It seemed like you just selected a couple zones on the map and called it good. Summit is the same way. I feel like there are plenty of good hardpoint areas, hardpoints that you could have specific anchors for, and ones that are completely contested the entire time.
Yeah.
I feel like because of where they put them, it is not executed well. Slums, on the other hand, you look at the hardpoints, some of the best hardpoints in any map that you look at.
Yeah,
they are
very well done.
It's a very well rotated map. I don't want to get into Slums too much because we all know it's a great map for hardpoint, but I do think that Summit needs to be changed if they're going to have it in there. I think it's one of the ones that's going to be removed at some point if they do not change it, just because the pros are not going to like it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Though I could be proven wrong. I would rather see it in the S&D rotation. Moving on to S&D though, because we've spent quite a bit of time on hardpoint, and there's a couple more things I want to touch on when we get to some of the specific rules for that, some of the bans. You got 1.5 minutes, 1.5 minutes on the time rounder or time limit. Can't read. Round limit is unlimited and it's 6 rounds, so it's pretty basic as other years. Same format. Arsenal, firing range, frequency, gridlock, hacienda, payload, and seaside. Like I said before, I would like to see Summit in here, and I think this would be a great lineup for maps for S&D.
Okay.
Other than that, though, we've been playing most of these maps on GB. A lot of gridlock, quite a few frequency, hacienda a couple times, and all those maps are pretty well done. Seaside is one of the ones that seems like if you don't it seems like a lot of these maps, but specifically said if you don't push it, if you don't push into a bomb site and you are very indecisive, you're going to lose out on that round very quick, offense or defense. The flanks on those maps are so easy to get around. But it'll be interesting to see how it's played.
Yeah, I mean, at least from the maps here, I probably would have done Summit over Seaside in my opinion. I've had fun with Seaside, but yeah, like you said, there's just a lot of if you just sit back and try and wait, you're going to get picked off, which I mean, it makes for kind of a boring match anyway, but there's just a lot of variables and part of why I don't know. And having the bomb site next to that tank instead of down low, by like the on the whatever by the seaside, I guess, instead of being.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's right in the middle, which is
it's just a weird placement in my opinion.
It's a really weird placement.
And whereas I feel like Summit really has good bomb sites, like it is a good search and destroy map, and I would much rather see that in search than in hardpoint, and just
most definitely,
and just kind of replace Seaside. I think overall for the other maps though, I mean, I tend to have fun for the most part with the other maps. Firing ranges will be good. Arsenal has been fun. There's again a lot of flanks, but it's pretty fun with the things you can do on that. Frequency, I think they just had to throw in frequency. I don't know, maybe not, but it's a decent map. There's a lot of play or big play moments that could happen in that map. And Gridlock it's not my favorite by any stretch, but I do understand why they would put it in for the search map.
Gridlock's one that's grown on me as I've played it. I still there are parts of it I don't like, but I really like a bomb site. I just love how you can push in there as a team, get full control of that, and just wait for the break. But I think personally, I'm happy not to see Contraband. I believe if I'm thinking correctly, Contraband's the one with the water underneath that you can swim through.
Yeah, yep.
Loved that map. That is a hardpoint map, and it's not a control map, which is nice to know. But it's one of those ones that when I first started playing, I loved it. The lines of sight, the ways around that were awesome. I just played a GB today, a 4s, where I realized quickly that map has so many different routes on it, so many different lines of sight, between B-Bomb being a figure 8 and having like 4 entrances. A-Bomb, don't get me started. That thing is ridiculous. You can't, like, that's a map that you have to hit one of the bomb sites or else you're losing the round. Like, if you're stationary, you're losing that round because someone's going to flank you. There's so many different routes to take. So I'm happy not to see that in there.
Same here.
But I am happy to see that map in the competitive rotation because I do think it is a fun map to watch in certain aspects.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's for a fast-paced game. It'll be there's a lot of play capabilities that can happen, and it kind of reminds me of one of the Black Ops 3 maps. I don't really remember what it was, but just there was water in it, and just definitely opportunities for plays, and it should be good for a 5s. But yeah, glad to not see it as a search and destroy. Basically, like you said, there's just too many variables, and there's already going to be games where there's high chances it's going to be 1v5. Like, good luck trying to do anything with all of you get 4 guys, push all 4 lanes, you're going to find the person more than likely. So
most definitely, yeah.
But I think overall though, besides like I said about Seaside and Summit, the maps for search are pretty good.
Yeah, I think all the maps are pretty appropriate throughout the game modes.
Yeah,
with small adjustments in there.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, kind of overall, all the game modes, with the maps that they have currently, they chose the right ones. The majority of it. And the thing is, like, they even stated in the intro is they have a lot of options here because they want the veto system to be worthwhile, and that's totally understandable. Chances are we're going to see a couple of these maps that maybe we don't like get banned by other teams.
Very true.
And like we said, Vegas is really that test event. You know, it has a lot riding on it, like a lot for the players, but you have to start somewhere. And at least map wise, I think in modes, I think with what they got, they did the best that they could. But let's definitely get into kind of the bans here. Let's just kind of go down the line. We'll start at specialist. Only one is banned, which is Nomad. In
Do
my
you want to talk
opinion.
about them as we go? Let's
Yeah, I was
talk
gonna
about the
like
bands as we go. Okay.
start with Specialist, talk about Nomad, go to the next, and so on.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I
Perfect.
mean Nomad, it makes sense really. I mean, we can't have the dog running around as that sixth teammate, and he's very hard to kill sometimes. So
I definitely don't like to see any specialist banned, especially if there's going to be any kind of pick ban phase if they wanted to do anything like that. Like it just, I don't know. To me, it didn't make sense to have you ban a specialist. Though I understand the dog is super frustrating to use. I
yeah,
think nerf the dog a little bit. There are other ultimates that I feel like are way less impactful than the dog, and I feel like you could balance them out a little bit better by nerfing the dog a little bit. And I wouldn't mind seeing him in competitive if he were to be like one bash and he's dead, or a couple shots to the face and you drop him.
yeah.
It's
Like, do
this
you think
dropping
if
half a clip into somebody is ridiculous.
like the dogs from past games, like how it's just a couple shots instead
Yeah.
of
Oh
a
yeah.
whole clip essentially?
Yeah. At the same time, you do have to balance it. It's just one dog. Um,
Yeah,
it is something that can cause so much havoc on a team that they have to just focus like all like four or five and just have to focus on that dog to kill it. But it's something that could, with a little bit of tweaks to its health, maybe. And I think maybe one of the big things is just show its health bar. Give us a health bar for the dog so we know what it's at.
that's
If
true
the
too.
dog doesn't get healing, then I could understand it having a little bit beefier of a health bar and you having to sort of whittle away at it. I just don't like to see a specialist banned, especially when there's only 10 in game.
Yeah,
Um, it's not cool that we dropped it down to 9 and limit it even more. Uh, that's really all I have to say. Nerf the dog a little bit. Add no bad back in.
yeah. I mean, with that, like, yeah, once you say nerf the dog, it makes sense that why not? Um,
A lot of people like Nomad. A lot of people
yeah,
really like that specialist
yeah.
that play pubs. I mean, it's just one of those things that you're just limiting the people.
And what is his like a is
No, he has the trip mines.
oh, that's right, that's right.
Hmm.
Which
So
that would have been good to have for game modes too. So that's
see,
unfortunate.
I think if he goes through, that's got to be one of the ones that might be banned. It's almost like a claymore in a way where you could just put it around a bomb site and you can block a bomb site off. You can put it on, an entranceway for control, and that's blocked off until they decide to try to shoot it out. It's one of those things that I think with sensor dart it should be banned, in my opinion. Though if you can nerf the dog, I would like to see the dog stay available.
Yeah, I mean
Personally.
yeah, those are fair points. Again, that's the only specialist band is Nomad. So currently, if you play him in your multiplayer and you're trying to go competitive, might not be the best thing to keep doing.
One more thing about
Yeah,
specialists that you mentioned though was that the recon one is not banned.
yeah,
So that will be full-fledged for use. You can pot that when you have it, spot everybody through the wall. I know you don't like that very much. I personally like it. I think it's great, but what about it? Since we talked about this a little bit last night, what don't you like about it?
well, I mean, yeah, we'll stick with. Well, we'll just kind of throw in the equipment too here because his sensor dart is banned.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't like it in the sense that you ban his sensor dart, which is it's very easy to take down if you find it.
Hmm.
But you also have UAV banned, and the vision pulse is essentially a see-through walls UAV, and I just don't really. I don't get why you would ban the sensor dart and UAV, but allow this character to still have his vision pulse. With that said, it takes a very long time to get it, even if you're just going on massive kill
Hmm.
streaks. But it's my problem with it is, well, I guess you could put a nade in that spot though. If you
Yep.
don't have the
Yep.
sensor dart, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I really haven't seen players actually put gear in that spot to have the extra perk. So I just don't really know if players are even going to really utilize
I,
some of the specialist like ability or not abilities but equipment.
I think most of the time people haven't been running equipment. Um, because they've been playing GB variant rules and it's had basically everything but the frag band. And equipment in itself in this game, like we talked about, is inconsistent. So it's something that you don't want to invest that point in. But I do agree that the sensor dart or that the vision pulse is game breaking to a point. But with, like you said, how long it takes to get and how short it lasts.
Yeah, it's
one
only
of those
about
things.
5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that could be game changing. It could completely ruin a team. It could allow a team to get back into a game with one of these pushes, whatever it may be. It could, but at the same time, it could flop. Someone could use it. They could spot 1 or 2 guys coming off a spawn, and that's all they get out of it. Like, it's one of those things that, when used correctly, it could be really, really effective and probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
When used incorrectly, could be basically useless. But then again, you can say that about just about all of them.
Yeah, true. You never know what ruins. Gravity spikes aren't very good this year, at least in my from what I've seen. And
if he gets inside a hard point with our grappling gun, he can clear that hard point really quick.
I mean, I've never been fortunate enough to have that happen, so. But I mean, it definitely. I mean, battery's going to be one that you're going to see every game, I think. Ajax will probably be used a lot with that 9-bang.
And the shield itself, oh man.
Yeah.
That shield needs some changes.
Yeah, there's definitely. Well, I actually just saw this on Reddit the other day, and ruins gravity spikes don't, like, Ajax doesn't die.
No, I actually went through and I watched a video of everything that kills Ajax. The best possible way to kill him, just based off of what you can do from standing right in front of him, is throwing a molly. Throwing a molly at his feet will burn him. Yeah. Cluster grenade at his front, or if you use battery's grenade launcher right at him, not a single speck of damage.
Yeah,
if
it doesn't
he's crouched.
do anything.
If he's fortified. If he's not fortified, then you can hit him still. So it's very interesting because there is that fortified mode, which he's a lot more protected with those wing flaps, and then there's not fortified mode where he's a lot more vulnerable, but still protected quite well from the front. So it really comes down to outplaying him, and sort of I think everybody's just gonna, like, if there is one of them in the game, you're gonna have a molly class. So if you run into him in that quarter, you throw it down and it starts burning him, and that's the best you can do at the moment.
That's interesting.
Even the dog will not it won't go through him. It will just ignore him even.
Really?
It's really weird how that shield works. Plus the fact you can shoot through it, like it's insane. But yeah, and then combine it with the 9-bang. So
yeah, let's talk about Seraph here. I know, seeing obviously they banned the tac deploy, and which I don't understand.
That's a yes and no. That's a partial. That's the one we got to talk about. So the only other specialist equipment that is banned is the tac deploy, but it's partially banned.
Yeah,
this is what makes no sense to me. They have banned it in hardpoint in S&D, but they have allowed it in control.
Yeah,
this blows me away. I guess I can understand from the offensive point of view. You put it down near the objective, you can jump in it really quick. If you spawn up, like if you only have like a second left, you can keep jumping in it.
Yeah.
But the defense can do the same.
Exactly.
It's one of those things that I don't like, that you're deciding that this item, and I think this might be the first time in Call of Duty history, as far as I know, that an item is allowed in some game types competitively and not in others.
I think you're right.
I completely disagree with this. I'm passionate about the fact that this should not be a split ban. It should be banned or free, and I think it's irrelevant in S&D.
It is. Yeah, I mean the thing with search,
it can help with anchoring.
Yeah,
so give it to H.
Exactly. Search wise, you're gonna start at the spawn no matter what, every mode, or like every round. You're not gonna you put attack, like you're not gonna put tac to play down at search.
It's useless. It's useless in search.
So I mean, at that point, no one's probably gonna use Seraph. But in hardpoint, like you said, you can anchor with it. You can do a flank. There's so many things you can do with that, and why they would ban it just doesn't.
And you can't put it in the hardpoint. You can't put it in an objective. So you can't just stck it in a hardpoint and have your teammates spawn up right inside the hardpoint. You have to put it strategically in a place, and it's pretty easy to destroy.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that out of all the rules, this is the one that got me the most heated and the most just. This has to be changed immediately, as soon as possible. I don't like the fact that you're doing this with an item, because if so, then let's start banning some certain specialists for S&D and stuff. Like if you're gonna start allowing this train of thought, like there's so far you can go with this. Like
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it really doesn't. I don't know. I can't figure out like a good reason for why they would ban such like a legitimate game changing piece of equipment for one mode but have it for the other.
Yeah.
I just don't I
It just
don't
doesn't
know.
make sense.
Yeah. I mean, with that said, I think let's see here. Include how tactical play operates now. So it looks like it might be changed after Vegas.
It should be changed before
Yeah.
Vegas, to be honest. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
that. We'll see how that gets affected in the near future. I'm gonna run over score streaks really quick because they're pretty basic, just like every
Okay.
other year. UAV, care package, counter UAV, Mantis, and Sentry. Those are all the bans. So UAV, counter UAV, pretty obvious. Like counter UAV is useless without UAV. Well, not useless, but it's
There's not
less
really a
useful
point for it. Yeah.
It does scramble your mini map, but that being said, it doesn't really matter. Care package, obvious reasons why. The Mantis and the Sentry, if I'm thinking right, the Sentry is just a Sentry gun, right?
Yeah, it's just Sentry gun.
Yeah, that's been allowed in the past, but we've had EMP grenades and stuff to take it
Yeah.
down, so I can understand that. Which is another thing that's missing. It seems like they're just missing a lot of these grenades that should be here. But yeah, I agree. Mantis, Sentry, pretty basic ones. I don't think there's anything really here that we'll be surprised by. You might see some of like the higher kill people, some of the slayers, maybe some more of like the slow objective players putting on higher streaks. But I think for the most part, Hellstorm's pretty strong. Lightning Strike's great for picking people, and then you either got the Dart or the RC depending on what your preference is or what kind of map it's on.
Yeah.
That I think that's pretty basic going on. Anything to touch on there?
I'm kind of surprised the strike team didn't get banned.
I just think it's because it's so high up. It's
yeah.
ridiculously
I
high
mean,
up.
it's going to be hard for somebody to actually get it, but
I agree, though it does need to go into the ban category because if it does get taken, just on
Yeah.
one time it gets hit, it's
Yeah.
going to be so unfair.
and it's so hard to kill those guys.
They literally have thousands of health.
Yeah.
It's like we have 150 and they have like 4,000 or something like that. It's
Yeah,
it's insane.
Unreal. Like that's just gonna yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise though, I like it. I mean, I like the ability to get those high streaks, but if you're gonna take Nomad's dog away, I think you should take away the strike team. That's just kind of
Strike team definitely should be taken away.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a swarm option too? Like a swarm of drones?
I can check real quick. I have the
I
Oh yeah, it's the drone squad.
Yeah, the announcer always says drone squad incoming, and I'm like,
Yeah.
the heck? I never actually realized that they're there or anything, but it's what it said, so I don't know.
Yeah. The gunship makes sense. All the other ones make sense though, like why they're in the game. So, but yeah, I mean, so the strike team, you have to essentially get 13 kills or play some objective to get it. But
Yeah, that'd be
it's just kind of
insane.
Again, it'd be a cool streak if you got it, but I don't know if I really agree with
It'd be so game breaking.
Yeah. Let's since that one's a pretty easy one to understand and there's not really a lot of problems there. Let's go over the weapon restrictions real quick. All the LMGs, all the shotguns, and currently they do have the rocket launcher, the Hellion Salvo banned as well. That's basically like every other year though. All the LMGs usually do get banned. All of this, at least shotguns, because they're secondaries, get banned.
The LMGs are OP this year too.
Yeah,
they truly are right
They're
now.
really
So it's a good ban at the moment. The missile though is one that strikes me as odd because that attack helicopter is super OP.
Well, so that's kind of what they actually talked about in the article here. It's restricted currently, but they're gonna look at it to where, or they're gonna try and do it so you can have it as a secondary. But if you try and shoot players with it, it's gonna be so minimal it won't matter. And if they can do that, then I think it makes a lot of sense to put them back in the game because, like you said, the chopper or sniper's nest or just kind of looking at them here are very good, and if you can't have a way to blow them up, then yeah, it definitely needs to put. But I understand currently because it's like you have batteries specialists the whole time.
Oh yeah,
so it makes sense for sure.
Shoot that in a hard point and kaboom, everybody's dead. So.
But if they're able to actually go into the esport settings of the game and do that, then I'm all for putting it back in for sure.
I definitely think it needs to be there just because it is difficult to take out that attack helicopter without any LMGs or any rockets.
Yeah.
And you just get eaten alive.
Exactly. Let's see. Let's look at kind of another easier one here. Optics wise, fast lock. I've never used it. I don't know what it does. I'm
Yeah, I think
guessing
that's the
it's
one that
like
we
the
might see
tracker
changes
one.
in. Yeah, I have no idea what it does, but I think it's one that optics in general is one we'll see changes in.
Yeah.
I don't know about the threat detector, whatever that is, in the sniper, how like it turns red when you hover over someone. Like I understand that that's not too game breaking, but
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. Optics I've never been a really big fan of like them going out of their way to ban stuff in, but there's certain like there were certain ones like in Black Ops 2, the one that looked through the wall, like that was sort of OP and they allowed that for certain tournaments. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see what they do
It
here.
looks like the threat detector is essentially a thermal sight.
Okay, I don't know. I
At
haven't
least from
used
what
it,
I
but
can tell. Just again, I have the game up, so I'm just kind of going through these real quick. Which one did they ban again? Or fast lock?
fast lock.
Is that the?
I have
Is that an
not a clue.
AR? What?
No,
Site?
I have no idea what site that is. Never heard of it. Moving on to gear though, really quick,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
gear's
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
got one. Acoustic sensor is the only band, which I believe is the one that increases. Is it like awareness, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
awareness essentially.
So they left in the sentry or the let me make sure I get this right. The Molotov, the frag, the concussion, the trophy system, and the score streak reducer, I believe, are the five that are in there. And then acoustic sensor's out. Unless acoustic sensor might be the one that gives you score streaks faster. I don't know.
No. Acoustic sensor is the one that's enemy movement is awareness.
Okay. So
So
yeah, then they still
yeah.
have the score streak one in there,
So
which is sort of weird because
yeah.
that strikes me as odd. We'll see how that plays
Yeah,
out.
I mean, you got equipment charge, obviously, stim shot, which I think the majority of people are
Oh
going
yes,
to take.
oh, this is gears.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah.
Did they not ban any then?
Only awareness.
No. Oh, it's no. Well, is stim shot the same category as no? Stim shot's a different category as grenades. So they didn't ban any grenades.
Equipment. No, they did not ban any equipment.
Oh, I see. No equipment ban. That sort of worries me, but
So I mean, that can be the special issue, or it can be trophy, combat axe, frag, Molotov, or concussion.
so what do you think about the armor being allowed?
I get it to a point, like hard point, and I mean, if you get your shots, it really isn't that overpowered, I guess. I mean, you get what 50 more health than normal with it, I think, and you lose your movement speed. It's reduced, so it's annoying in pubs, but I do understand why they have it on there.
Do you think it's one that snipers are going to take more in like S&D, where like they don't need to get to their like sometimes they need to get their spot super fast, but a lot of times if you peek that corner or take it against the sniper, you peek that corner, that sniper does hit that shot. Now you're able to heal and still be alive to give your team that number. So
yeah, and I think the good thing about it though is it's kind of like level 2 in Blackout. You don't have the head protection. So if you do hit the headshot, you're probably gonna die. So I don't think it's. I honestly I think again body armor is super annoying in pubs when you're going on that streak and you hit the kid. But I think for competitive, I think it's. I mean it's useful, and I'm not sure if people are gonna take it over stim shot. I think it'll be a game by game situation or a player by player situation. And right now, stim shot is kind of the one you almost need most of the time just to have that fast healing.
yeah.
But I guess I don't really understand why. Have they banned awareness in the past? I don't really remember.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Awareness, as far as I know, has always been banned.
Okay, well,
Occasionally
that
it
makes
slipped
sense then.
through and they gave it a try, but it's just one of those ones that like, why have something like dead silence in the game for S&D when everybody can run acoustic sensor and still hear you?
That's fair.
So
That makes sense
it's one
then.
of those ones. Yeah. Like even in Black Ops 2, I believe they're in the same category. And if you ran the greed, perk 3 greed, you could get dead silence and awareness. And it was basically just like running around like normal if everybody had it. You just ran
that's a
around,
good
still
point.
heard footsteps like normal. So it's one of those things that just it makes sense for it being banned. I have no problems with it. I don't want this game's already got sound whoring extraordinarily integrated into the game. You hear steps everywhere across the map. And like the thing is that I think I enjoy about this game, to a point, is like you can hit like cans on the ground and make noise. You like your gun makes noise when you reload or when you YY. Like every little thing you do, every little action you do makes a significant noise that you can hear in that silent S&D setting. So I feel like it's something that when you don't have the extra hearing, is definitely going to be a good thing.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it definitely makes sense why they would ban that. Again, I have no idea where oh, maybe it's for the launcher. I don't know. I can't.
Maybe I have no idea.
I can't find
Doesn't
it on,
matter.
Can't find it on anything.
Perks though. Let's go over perks.
Yeah, so all perk 1 perks are available: Scavenger, Engineer, Flak Jacket, Tac Mask. I don't really see Scavenger or Engineer being really used, so it'll probably be Flak or Tac Mask if they use it. Perk 2, I think it's only Skulker. Yeah, Skulker's the only one which...
Gung Ho.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, Gung Ho and Skulker. I don't
understand either of those.
I don't either. I don't think they're overpowered in any way. I mean, they're very useful, and I use Gung Ho a lot, so I don't... I mean, it's basically... What I imagine is going to happen is it's going to be lightweight, perk 2 agree with dexterity, and you're going to have dead silence. I think that's basically what people are going to run, and probably Flak Jacket if to switch up from dead silence. That's really what I see is like the meta going into Vegas.
Given that we don't get a buff or nerf to Tac Mask or the concussions, I definitely agree with that. I personally like the idea of having that extra option, even if it's not like the best option, but like maybe running a subclass and throwing Skulker on that and being able to crouch around and not
Skulker would be so nice on Arsenal and the little crate system.
The vents.
There.
It's just there's a lot of different ways that it could be useful, and I just like the idea of having the extra dead silence ish thing in there.
Yeah, I don't really understand why they banned those, but I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I get Team Link and Tracker. Those both make sense to me. But yeah, I don't.
Tracker makes sense. Team Link was one that I thought would be interesting to have. If someone did run it, you could, see your teammates through walls and stuff like it.
Well, it also, so the other thing with Team Link, and I only know this because I'm looking at it, is it reveals Fog of War circle around you and your teammates.
Oh, okay.
So it's essentially like
broken.
It's like a
that's
UAV.
Broken, yeah.
So it's understandable why they banned that. Now, if it really was just see your teammates, then yeah, absolutely, it'd be like, why are you banning that? That doesn't make sense. But with the Fog of War thing,
that does change it up, yeah.
Yeah. And I think the last one we got here are the attachments. So we'll kind of find an AR. We'll go to attachments. So they have high caliber band. I believe that's the headshot damage one. Is that right?
First level is headshot. Second level, high caliber 2 is upper body.
Okay, so kind of makes sense, I guess. I don't see.
It's always been banned competitive, and it should stay banned. Just it straight up gives you extra damage for hitting the head or the upper body, which, when it comes down to it, everybody would be running that if it was allowed. So
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see. High explosive. I'm guessing that's for the rocket launcher. Not really.
Not a clue what that is for.
Okay,
rocket cache is probably the rocket launcher too. The big ones here are steady aim, laser sight 2, and rapid fire, which rapid fire is normally banned.
Yeah.
But with how underwhelming the subs are, it sort of makes it relevant. I don't know. I'm not gonna make an argument for that because there should be a nerf and buff there. The one that gets me is laser sight 2. That's the one that gets me.
So let's see. Laser
it
sight,
must have something on there.
It does. Laser sight obviously is just improved hip fire accuracy, and then laser sight 2 is maximized hip fire accuracy, but you have no penalty while moving. So you can just strafe around the map.
Still doesn't make sense to me. You have Gun Hope already banned. It doesn't make sense. I should be able to run a sub with laser 2 and run into a room and just spray while I'm moving, especially if Gun Ho is banned. So it doesn't make sense. It's not like it's revealing enemies, and it's not like it's giving me bonus damage. It's simply allowing me to move faster while shooting, which in a game that's fast paced like this is a good thing in my opinion. And I believe laser sight 2
So the
is
other
on ARs too.
is it on ARs?
Yeah, it's on the Maddox. I want to say it's
Okay.
on the ICR, but I can't be positive on that. I
Because
think it
at
only has
least
one.
SMG wise, it's only on the Spitfire.
Okay, yeah, so it's also on the Maddox. So it's just one of those ones that doesn't make sense to me. I don't get why you'd ban that. Um, but then again, like I said, they did ban, what was it? The gun ho, where you run around faster and able to
Yeah.
shoot from the hip or whatever, shoot while sprinting, heal while sprinting, whatever it is. That it seems like they're trying to slow the game down a little bit almost.
Yeah.
Uh, then again, they still left lightweight and dexterity, which speeds up the movement as well. So I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to slow down how you can handle your gun and when you can actually be shooting it or not.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not totally bothersome since it's only on a few weapons, though.
yeah.
So.
There's really only, at least from what if you said the Maddox, and then the Spitfire, it's really not. I don't think it would really be used anyway. Honestly, I don't really.
Yeah. And then lastly, it's wild cards. It's just overkill. They left underkill unbanned. With shotguns being shotguns being banned, it's not going to be used anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe someone trolly brings out a pistol and launcher if the launcher's ever available, but I doubt we'll ever see that. Overkill, primary, and then both the mods, secondary mod
Yeah,
operator,
makes
primary
sense.
mod operator. I haven't fiddled with those at all, but
I haven't
it
either.
makes sense why those are banned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to really complain about those, and nor do I really see them even used. Because honestly, I didn't even know how to get them until just now.
Yeah, so I was about to say I've never known to get them. So
Yeah, I mean, so if you don't know, they're in the wild card section where like you get perk one greed or primary gunfighter. But yeah,
I believe you have to have your weapon maxed out too.
Yeah, it has to be
level-wise.
maxed out. Yeah.
So it's sort of just a cool pub thing that adds to your gun,
Yeah.
like adding a second SOG so you can run around
Yeah,
akimbo.
both. Yep. But yeah, until just today, I had no idea how to even do it. So
I saw them. I had people ask me, and I was just like, I don't know.
I had no idea.
What?
And then just finally is pretty straightforward. The lobby settings: friendly fires enabled, battle chatter disabled, revenge voice disabled, announcer disabled, because obviously you don't want to hear the codcasters, or no, that's the guy who talks. So like
calls out
enemy UAV or something like that.
Battle chatter is when your guy calls out.
Oh, okay.
Grenade out. Going prone. Yeah,
That
it's
makes
that. It's
sense.
that. It's one of those things that you don't really think about until someone leaves it on in a GB, and then you hear the guy go grenade out, and you're like, "Oh, I hear him. He's over."
Yeah,
It's really obvious.
makes sense. Third person spectating disabled, obviously.
Gestures disabled.
Yeah, gesture,
all
camera
that stuff.
Yeah, all of it makes sense. So I don't think anyone has to be frustrated with that. Last little tidbit though on this is online. The online ladder is beginning on Monday, October 29th, and the first 2K November 4th, which is going to be a Sunday. So those are coming out soon. And then CWL Vegas is, I believe, December 8th through the 10th. I think it starts on the 8th though. And that basically kind of wraps up the rule set there. I mean, overall, I guess looking at it in more of a thorough setting, like actually reading it and going over everything, I'm not like as frustrated with it. There's definitely things that, again, like we said, just don't make sense or just kind of annoying with the maps. But with what they have in the game currently and what they, I guess, did, most of it makes sense. I mean, it's a lot better than GB's settings, I can tell you that.
100% better than GB. I'm so glad that I can use the grappling hook now if I want.
Yeah, I mean, God, GB sucks, man. Their rules are so bad.
I've never liked GB rules, though it's tolerable. I mean, it's the bare bones game, but at the same time, like I want to be using my score streaks. I want to be using all that stuff.
Exactly. So, I mean,
my specialists.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hopefully we get like an arena mode now that the rules are out here soon. I would hope it's in November, but from what I've heard and been told, it looks like it's going to be December. And then the first CWL season, I just saw this before we started the show, is going to start in February. So we'll have the tournament December. I would imagine I mean, based on what I've seen from the Doritos Bowl today, I wouldn't be surprised to see something in January, another Blackout type thing.
Yeah, I mean, they have not given us any more information on what Blackout tournaments they're planning on doing
Yeah.
other than community ran ones. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, but at least from a competitive wise, as of right now, like we've said, we haven't played these rules. We haven't seen pros play these rules, as at least I haven't really.
I've watched a little bit, but not enough to like really dive into the things that bother me yet.
Yeah, I mean, at least currently, in my opinion, right now, it looks like we could be in for a good year of competitive COD. And especially if in Treyarch, we know, is very supportive of the competitive scene.
Oh.
So they'll definitely tinker and play with things, especially after Vegas, and probably going up until Vegas. They'll mess with some things and put out new patches and see how things go.
I'd say we'd probably get 2 more patches before Vegas.
Yeah, at least with the rate they're going. Yeah, I would hope at least 2.
Yeah, 1 to balance guns, and then 1 to make any drastic changes that might have been affected.
Yeah, I agree 100% there. I would like to see at least
and then
2.
fixing the servers. Fix the servers.
Yeah, that's going to be one that they're going to be working on for a while, I think, just to figure those out and get it to a point where it's stable and steady across the board.
Goodness. Have you watched any of the Blackout tournament today?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it on in the background, and I didn't even realize it started at 12:30 though, so I was a little bit late getting into it, but I did see a little bit of it. Game 2 was the Heat 2 was fun, seeing Courage take down Lupo and Ninja's team. That was kind of fun to see. Do you know what the scores are by any chance currently?
Currently at the moment, and given this, I don't know how they're updating them or how often they update them, but currently, and this is bound to change very soon, but Team Courage is 325, Team Shroud is 323.75, though I believe they are still in a game. Courage's team just won the games, so they got points for that, I believe. Team Ninja is 208.25, and Team Lupo is 199.75, so they're on the brink of 200 as well. It's very interesting to sort of see that, like, we have a definitive top 2 and a definitive bottom two right now.
Yeah. I mean, at least team wise, from what I saw, I expected Courage and Shroud to be the top. I thought it was Lupo on the bottom.
Yeah, but he did change places with Ninja sort of recently.
Okay.
Ninja and him have been swapping back and forth every once in a while, because like I feel like I haven't been able to get a full grip on this because I haven't had the sound on, but it seems like they're playing just as many games as they can get in. As soon as they die, they get into another game.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of times where they finish a game and the points add up to a lot, and there's times where they finish a game and they get no points. So it's one of those things, like Lupo's team's in a game right now, they'll get the points when the game finishes, I believe.
Yeah, that's how it is. Once the game finishes, they start updating the leaderboard.
So I believe Shroud's team is still in a game after Courage's team just finished. So it looks like Shroud's team will bounce back on top.
Courage is streaming currently, and it looks like they're back in another game.
I'm sure, by now they're in another game.
I will say I like the fact that they're allowing the streamers to stream.
That's very nice.
Shroud and Courage are streaming currently.
Well, I believe I don't know if everybody is, but it is being TwitchCon. Like, you're gonna want to have them streaming on Twitch just to bring in those extra viewers.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I do like that they do have the bonus for getting in like top 10, top 5, or win. I think that's definitely
very
good.
important.
Yeah, they had to give you an incentive to actually try and win games. So
yeah,
I do like that. Overall, I kind of like you have an hour per heat to get as many games in as you can.
Yep.
I do like that. I mean, overall for the first one, I think they're doing a lot of things well. There's that. I think you can definitely improve, and I think they will going forward. But at least for just kind of a not really thrown together, but kind of thrown together thing, I think they're doing it pretty well.
Oh no, it's definitely really nice. The production of it is, like you said, it helps that they have other people like themselves streaming. But I've been on like the TwitchCon esports stage channel the entire time, because they just switch back between Lupo, Courage, Shroud, Ninja, whoever's in the middle of the action, they are showing you.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see both sides of, when Shroud's team got wiped by Ninja, it was fun to see, both sides of that.
Yeah, it was.
But I don't know. How's Blackout been going for you personally? Because you've been putting in quite a few hours in the stream lately.
Some games are better than others. But I'm starting to actually kind of get a feel for the guns and feel for the game. And I mean, obviously the movement is still Call of Duty. I think if you played COD for as long as, we have, since at least trying to do the whole competitive thing since MW3, you just kind of get a feel for the movement of COD. But it's fun. So beta came out. We played that a lot. I really enjoyed the beta. But then once the game was actually out, I was kind of bored of it, to be honest. I just wasn't really having fun. But now I'm kind of back in that mode where I'd rather play Blackout than multiplayer currently.
I think it was the fact that multiplayer was such a big change from the past.
Yeah.
And I just experienced Blackout in the beta weeks earlier that I wanted to get as much time, or hands-on time with multiplayer as possible. But I find myself now like if I'm not playing GBs, I rarely am playing pubs by myself. Maybe if I'm just watching a video and I just want to shoot something and not really focus, and let's say I'm not playing with sound, then I'll throw myself in a pub, maybe free for all or something, just shoot some people to warm up for my Blackout. But it's always focused on just like, when can I play Blackout? That's all I want to do. Like, I got Red Dead Redemption, and I put 4 or 5 hours into it so far, but I have still put more hours since Red Dead is released into Blackout because I've been enjoying it so much.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of for me is like, now that like you've said, I've played the multiplayer, I understand how it is, like how it feels. I'm just getting kind of bored without the league play mode. Whereas Blackout is just, hop in with a friend or couple, and it's just constant hours of fun, even when you're losing. So I mean, Treyarch hit the nail with Blackout. It's very fun, and I'm not getting burned out from it yet. So.
Most definitely. It's also one of those game modes where I've made, how do I put this? People I've had on my friends list for a lot of CODs that I had on my friends list specifically to play COD with in the past, maybe competitively, or just some league player or whatever.
Yeah.
Those people have been hitting me back up like, yo, you looking for a squad for Blackout? Like a lot of them they still play competitive, GBs and stuff, but they're always looking to play for Blackout. And I've met so many more new people through Blackout than I have through pubs, and not just this game. Like, the people I've met through and like started playing games with through pubs Call of Duty is so small. It's maybe a handful in total, like people I've actually friended and played with after that like initial meeting.
Right.
Blackout, I've already done it with 4, 5, 6 people I've met in Blackout, added them to my friends list, and I still have people that hit me up every once in a while like, yo, you looking to play, man? Like, let's get some W's. I'm like, let's give it a try, dude. Like, I always have somebody to play with. And if I don't, I hop into that duos, that squads, and most of the time someone has a mic. After a game or two, I find someone who has a mic.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they're tolerable. They're not, squeaking into my ear.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, if if you have a high pitched voice, there's nothing wrong with that. But most of the time you're just yelling into my ear. So it's nice to have that balance where I'm meeting people, talking to people. And a lot of these guys aren't taking it too seriously, but a lot of them, they really want to. And it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah. I mean, just from a community standpoint, Blackout, like you said, you're meeting people through playing Blackout. And I think that's what some people don't understand about like gaming is, a lot of my friends I've met through gaming, believe it or not. Even my in real life, besides you, like, I've known you since I was 4. So, I mean, we obviously that didn't exist. But like for B. Clark, for instance, I would have never met him if it wasn't for Black Ops 2.
Oh, yeah.
Or Corrupted, another kid that I would play with. I would have never met him if it wasn't for you guys through online gaming. And just some other people that, I've hit up, played with. And it's crazy thing, like some of your best friends come from gaming, and like Blackout's really kind of opening that up to people, and it's cool to see, like they really kind of thought about the community. And if you, like you said, if you get someone who's not annoying and actually like is just cool and like wanting to play, like you just met,
Oh yeah.
you're just met someone new and you can play with them in the future. So from a community point, it's very cool what they're doing, and I think it's just going to continue to grow the COD scene in that sense.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's not even the Call of Duty community playing it,
No, it's a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so many more people, and it just opens up doors. Yeah, you still get those people that are rude or whatever,
No, of
but
course. I mean, it's
most
COD.
of the time, like they're just they're focused on the enemy. They're not trashing on me. They're not being rude about me. It's all about like, hey, the enemies, these whatever the name they want to call them in the game. Like even the ones that are normally intolerant or like unsufferable in like pubs
Yeah.
are okay in this, just because the dynamic of the game. It's us versus the world. We have to get along. If we
Yeah,
don't,
exactly.
I could throw myself in a party and go off by myself, because this is a game where, unlike Fortnite, I feel like I can 1v2, 1v4.
Yep.
I love playing solo versus duos in Fortnite, but it was so difficult if you had two people that knew how to build.
Yeah.
In this game, even if they're good players, you can still outplay them if you are up to the task. I should say.
Exactly. If you kind of have that, it gets to the point where you can figure out what people like the general pop is going to do. And man, it makes for some cool clips too. If you can outplay these people, like, it's like you said, it's Fortnite was very hard to do that because you just build and build and build and good luck. But with just, it's pure just skill. Like, who is the better player essentially?
Oh yeah.
In this. And
well, I mean, there's a lot of things in this that in Blackout that go down to like that make it more of a team game than a solo game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The big thing for me when I play by myself is it feels like when I'm playing solos, like, yeah, I may have a better chance of winning, but I may only get to the top 5 with like 3, 4, 5 engagements maybe.
Yeah.
Where if I'm playing duos, there's usually a duo there. If I see somebody, there's usually another one nearby. So I just have more engagements. And it seems like people are less scared in duos. They're more willing to commit to a push or to commit to a fight. That in solos, most people seem to run away from or hide from. So it's much more action packed. I still think squads is where I want to be. I want to be getting on and playing solo squad or solo quads and just trying to take out quads. But I personally know I'm not there yet. I still have to figure out more about the game, how to play the game, how some of the guns work before I can dive into that monster.
Makes sense for sure. I mean, we once again, we have hit just about our hour mark. I don't know how it happens, but it's pretty consistent with us. We get about an hour and then kind of wrap it up. So, I mean, with that said, is there anything you want to finish up on and before we head out?
I believe you had one last announcement you were going to make.
I forgot.
Other than that, I'm looking. I got an Elgato. I'm trying to get it figured out so I can get better streams going and hopefully put up some recordings soon. I think there's some stuff on my computer I got to upgrade before I fully can get that going.
Gotcha.
Which I'm just waiting on some paychecks to go through so I can buy the stuff I need to buy for that.
Cool.
But with that being said, like, I'm gonna pass it to you. Because I know you have quite a big announcement coming up.
I do, and I know I had said this, I was going to do it in our next episode, but I'm actually going to hold off because some of the part of the announcement is going to show up on Monday. So I want to make sure what it is quality, and I could have other people.
You want to have it to show.
Exactly. Let's put it that way.
I agree.
I know it'll be here Monday. I want to be able to show it off when it gets here. So I'm going to save that. If you go to my Twitch, you will know about it. It's in my panels. Link is in the description. All of our social media is in the description. Obviously, our Instagram and Twitter is on the screen currently. However, I will ask this because I know how to do it. Would people want the show on iTunes? If you do, let us know in the comments, because I know, at least for me, I listen to podcasts in the car, and having it on iTunes would make it a lot easier. And it just goes straight to your phone once we upload an episode. So with that said, I am all good. This is EShot episode 6. Until next time, guys, we will see you in the next episode.
Peace.